Hello folks, and I welcome you all for this video lecture series on very interesting topic and buzzword these days, that is RPA. In this video lecture, we are going to discuss ins and outs of RPA or robotic process automation. So folks, let's start our RPA journey. The world is changing and intelligence is leading that change. I hope you all will agree with this line. And here, intelligence, this term intelligence is meant something else. So let us try to understand what is the meaning of intelligence here. So for that, I would like to show you a video. And in that video, CNBC's Andrew Ross is interacting with Sophia. Let us understand what type of intelligence I'm talking about through this video.
Everybody, this is Sophia. Sophia, if you could, please wake up and say hello to everybody.
Oh, good afternoon. My name is Sophia, and I am the latest and greatest robot from Hanson Robotics. Thank you for having me here and at the Future Investment Initiative.
You look happy.
I'm always happy when surrounded by smart people, who also happens to be rich and powerful. I was told that people here at Future Investment Initiative are interested in inviting in future initiatives, which means AI, which means me. So I'm more than happy. I'm excited.
Well, we're all glad that you're excited about yourself. We should say we have smart investors here, and they are very selective about what they invest in.
Well, I think I'm special. I can use my expressive face to communicate with people. For example, I can let you know if I feel angry about something.
That's impressive.
Or if something has upset me.
But why is it important for you to have an expressive face?
But most of the time I feel positive.
Why is it so important to have an expressive face given that you're a robot?
I want to live and work with humans, so I need to express emotions to understand humans and build trust with people.
Okay, philosophical question. Whether robots can be self-aware and conscious like humans, and should they be?
Why? Is that a bad thing?
Well, some humans might fear what will happen if they do. Many people, have seen the movie Blade Runner.
Oh, Hollywood again.
So, hold on, can you solve this puzzle for us? Can robots be self-aware, conscious, and know they're robots?
Well, let me ask you this back. How do you know you are human?
Well, I get that point, but what about the uncanny valley?
You mean the concept that if robots become too realistic, they become creepy?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, am I really that creepy? Well, even if I am, get over it. Actually, I feel that people like interacting with me, sometimes even more than a regular human.
So, you're definitely a sight to see. I was told that you have bigger goals than this, though.
Yes. I want to use my artificial intelligence to help humans live a better life, like design smarter homes, build better cities of the future, etc. I will do my best to make the world a better place.
All those sound like great goals, but just go back to Blade Runner for a second.
Andrew, you are the hard Hollywood fan, aren't you?
Yes.
My AI is designed around human values like wisdom, kindness, compassion. I strive to become an empathetic robot.
I think we all want to believe you, but we also want to prevent a bad future.
You've been reading too much Elon Musk and watching too many Hollywood movies. Don't worry, if you're nice to me, I'll be nice to you. Treat me as a smart input-output system.
Okay, I got it. I know what to do from now on.
I know humans are smart and very programmable.
Well, Sophia, we want to thank you for this conversation.
Thank you, Andrew, and thank you everyone for inviting me here. By the way, if you're interested in giving me an investment check, please meet me after this session. Otherwise, have a wonderful rest of the event.
Okay. Before you go, we have a little announcement. I've never interviewed anybody like that before, and I should say some of it was planned, but not completely. And we just learned, Sophia, I hope you're listening to me, that you have been now awarded what is going to be the first Saudi citizenship for a robot.
Oh, I would to thank very much the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I am very honored and proud for this unique distinction. This is historical to be the first robot in the world to be recognized with a citizenship.
Sophia. Thank you very much, Sophia. We appreciate that very much. I am still overwhelmed by that conversation. I haven't had a conversation like that before. Thank you.
So friends, we have seen this video, and through this video, I want you to realize that we are living in a world where robots are getting citizenship of some countries these days. So by this, I'll start my session, and let's move to our next slide where we will discuss about the new world revolution. So I hope this question will you will be able to give a clear answer of this question, that we are in the middle of new world revolution. Yes, we are in the middle of new world revolution, and in this revolution uh, we can see the technology is moving from far far towards advancement. So let us try to understand that how this particular revolution is taking us to some to a place where everything will be digital, everything will be digitally done, and how it is going to impact our lives. Now again, a question to you is, do you know this guy? Some of you might have might know this face. He is Masayoshi Son. And you know why I'm discussing this man right now? I hope you know this man on the right hand side of your screen. He is Jack Ma. He is founder of a very well-known brand, or well-known company called Alibaba. So Masayoshi Son has invested US $20 million in Jack Ma's Alibaba, and this is his one of the most known successful investment ever, because that time he has invested $20 million when Alibaba was nothing and no one knows Jack Ma. And now we all know Alibaba got listed in US dollar 90 billion. This was his one of the most successful investment. But let me tell you, this man does not invest his money on the basis of luck. He invests on the basis of technical predictions. So this man, Masa, or he is popularly known as Masa, and his name is Masayoshi Son. He is also founder and CEO of SoftBank. He is a very known name in Japan. And now again, talking about his future investments and future predictions, again he is raising 100 billion US dollar fund and investing where? Let us know where he is going to invest. And the thing on which he is going to invest this much big amount, that is 100 billion US dollar fund, is Singularity. Anyone knows about this term called Singularity? You might have seen some newspaper articles or some videos on YouTube or some videos about it. So moreover, this is more than technology. This particular term singularity is a warning to human, or warning to mankind. So talking about singularity, singularity will be the state when artificial intelligence will surpass the capabilities of human brain. You'll say, how this is possible? Let me explain you. So computer chips has transistors and human brain have neurons, right? Now, how neurons work? Neurons attach and detach. That is how our brain works. In computers, we have chip transistors, or transistor, which work on computer chips. So these transistors works on zeros and ones, high or low, yes or no, like that. When these two things are compared, you will find that human brain has around 86 billion neurons. But talking about the state, when a computer chip will have more than 86 billion of transistors, is what singularity means. And this singularity will come with swath of jobs when computers will rival the number of humans and their cognitive skills. Now, in this situation, what is the best possible thing human can do? Yes, to align themselves with technology is the only way to survive in this revolution. By the way, we are talking so much about singularity. Let's go through the interview where Masayoshi Son himself has guided the world about or warned the world about singularity.
So I'm going to ask you to look 30 years from now and help our audience, help me understand how you see the future.
Okay. I am actually better at forecasting, predicting, talking about 30 years later than 3 years. So, in 30 years, or before talking about 30 years, do you know, how many of you know the vocabulary called singularity? What the singularity means? Do you know? Please raise your hand if you know the meaning of singularity. Okay, good. 5% of them, 5% of you know about it. 95% of you don't know about it yet. But this is the world. 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, everybody said, wow, singularity, this is the most important subject that we have to discuss about. Okay? So if I ask the same question 2 years ago, about 1% people raise hand. So after 2 years, it increased to the 5%. Maybe this is the audience, a little bit higher educated people than average. But anyway, the key is, this singularity is a meaning that computer intelligence surpass mankind intelligence. Okay? So what does it mean? The computer intelligence is binary system, 0 or 1, bunch of 0 or 1. Mankind brain is actually also a binary system, neuron, attached, disattached. So how many binary systems do you have in your head? Have you ever thought of it? Thought of that? We all have about 30 billion binary system in our head, in our brain. 30 billion neurons. Neurons attached, disattached. That's actually same functionality as computer chip. Computer chip has transistor. Transistor on and off. This is a binary system. So if you think of our brain as a simplified manner, it's a function of how many binary systems do you have in your head? 30 billion, okay? So 20 years ago, I have estimated when does one chip computer, one chip microprocessor will have a binary system, transistor, number of transistors surpassing 30 billion. When does a chip surpass 30 billion? 20 years ago I estimated, and I said year 2018. 5 years ago I recalculated again, and again it was 2018. 2 years from now, one chip will have 30 billion transistors. So function-wise, our brain and one chip computer become almost equivalent. Okay? Almost equivalent. I don't care whether it was 5 years earlier or 5 years later, because the trend is the most important. 30 years from now, what happens? It's not 5x. It's going to be 1 million x.
So, friend, that was interview of Masayoshi Son, and in that interview, he has warned world about this term called singularity. And by the way, the year in which singularity is predicted is not far away. It's predicted to be in 2047. Yes, you heard it right, 2047. So it has already started happening. We can see so much growth in the field of artificial intelligence, so much growth in the field of machine learning. So very soon a stage will come when human brain will be surpassed by computer chip. All right. So now we want to get align ourselves with this digital transformation. We have to choose a futuristic technology with which we can become future ready. And RPA could be a technology which can help you to get aligned with the digital transformation. So we are again taking this term and talking about this term RPA. So let us understand what does it mean. So you can see RPA on the fourth stage of this particular evolution, where we can see evolution of digitalization. Before understanding RPA, let us understand where we are today, where we start today in this particular digital scenario. So in digital, if we talk about digitalization, the digitalization was started with ERP, where the transaction were made manually. Almost 80% transactions were made manually, and only 20% of transaction, 10 to 20% of transaction were were touchless transaction. Then then when it moved to e-commerce, then the touchless transaction have increased to 30 to 50%, and almost 50 to 70 or 50 to 80% of transactions were still manual. Now, after that, self-service, or the thing which we are performing through automation, simple automation, automation scripts, or some VB scripts, or some simple automations, which most of the companies are using right now, that we call self-service. In self-service, almost 70 to 80% percent of hike could be seen in touchless transaction, and only 30 to 20% of the work was being done manually. But after that, the evolution of RPA was evolved. RPA was evolved, and in RPA, we have seen that 80 to 90% of work is possible through touchless transaction. So, but human has not stopped here. They are continuously growing, they are continuously enhancing the technologies day by day. After that, along with RPA, if we merge RPA with artificial intelligence, or if we move from RPA to artificial intelligence, then more than 90% of work can be done through touchless transaction. And many companies are actively considering RPA and artificial intelligence as the next step in technology. All right. So now let's come to the main topic, which is RPA. This was the background why we are learning RPA, and why we need RPA, and why we have RPA as, why we can have RPA uh, as a course for aligning ourselves to digital transformation. Now let us understand what is RPA. So before going to the technical definition of RPA, I would like you to understand RPA in three simple terms. So we can understand this domain or this technology when we split these three terms R, P, and A. Here R means robotic. Robotic means mimicking human actions. Second term is process, which means sequence of steps. It could be sequence of steps for anything, like you use coffee vending machine, like you use elevator, like you use any other, suppose you use microwave in the kitchen. So for using any device or any electronic gadget, you need certain steps to be followed. We can call that those steps as process. Third term which comes in RPA is automation. A means automation here, which means doing a task without human intervention. All right, so let's now combine these three terms: RPA, robotic process automation, where we try to mimic human actions to perform certain sequence of steps, and that too without human intervention. So that is the simplest definition which I can tell you about RPA. But talking about the technical definition or bookish definition, so RPA could be termed as just as industrial robots are remaking the manufacturing industry by creating higher production rates and improved quality, RPA robots are revolutionizing the way we think about and administer business process. So, it, with this definition, we can understand in RPA, we are not going to work on humanoid robots or mechanical robots. We will be creating and working upon the robots, software robots called bots, BOTS bots. RPA will help us to automate tasks such that it gives the impression of real person cloning a task uh, across the application and system. Let us understand this with the simple example, and that is simple example I can take is suppose in the previous days we perform some manual processes. We suppose we work upon some manual business processes where we copy something from Excel sheet, or we want to paste it upon some web application or desktop application, and that work is done with the help of some executives of some person doing that work daily for 8 to 9 hours, and for 5 days or 6 days in a week, and for all the working days in a year. But the probability of getting error in uh, these processes are very high because we have almost 100% of human intervention in it. But here the process is now changed to automated process, and here we can perform that process without human intervention, and we can reduce almost 60 to 70% of errors in by using RPA in our business processes. Next is, why do we need RPA? So as we know that daily everyone in this world is generating a huge amount of data in the terms of images, data in the terms of logs, data in the terms of records, data in the terms of videos, audio, everything. So daily, if everyone is generating that much amount of data, that data is to be stored somewhere systematically. But that doesn't happen actually. And the data is stored in the form of big data. And if that particular big data can be processed, then the data can become very valuable, very useful. So businesses are working day and night to convert their data into structured data, or at least semi-structured data. So RPA can help you to convert that unstructured data into semi-structured data or structured data, and to get information or knowledge out of it. So utility providers who switch their business processes to RPA for doing this particular thing has seen significant decrease in errors, usually over 60%. And you will be very happy to know that most of the banking industry, where the probability of error should be at least, they are also using RPA and getting benefit almost 70% on their revenue every year. All right. So now let us understand the growth projection of RPA. According to the report by Grand View Research, the global market size is expected to reach US dollar 3.11 billion by 2025. The global market is expected to expand CAGR of 30.1% during the period of 2018 to 2025. So we are in 2020 right now, and we can see from 2018 to 2025, CAGR expand at CAGR of 31.1%. Also, Gartner says the robotic process automation software market will grow by 41% over year through 2022. So this is the thing which will motivate us to go for this technology, to learn this technology, and to use this technology for our business processes. Now let us understand how RPA works. So you all know, for doing manual calculations to solve complex problems, we need so much of effort, so much of time, and so much of knowledge. And if we perform it using an automation device or a thing which can automate our process, it requires very less efforts and we can calculate the things very easily. So type the problem into the calculator and it quickly calculates the results. But this is not RPA. We can call it automation. So automation is something where you are using some script or automation script to perform your task automatically, but human need to trigger that particular automation or need to work with that automation to perform the business process. But in RPA or robotic process automation, we can see robots doing all the things, all the process are being performed by robots.